This is such a nice question because it looks a bit paralyzing to know where to start with. And so I could imagine in the middle of a stressful exam, this would just leave you, floundering a little bit. And so I'm going to try and break it down to make it a bit easier for you. So the first thing, this function has a minimum value of 96 at x equals 4. In plain English, that's just telling you that there's the turning point, 4 and 96. Then what's buzzing in my mind is when I see min or max, immediately I'm thinking that's where the derivative equals naught. And so that's one of the main backbone little formulas that you want to use to get you going with derivatives. And so that's going to help me unlock this aspect of the question. And so I'm going to do the derivative. I times the power by the front. Actually, let me do one step just to make life a little bit easier, because one of the rules of doing and finding the derivative is to not have a x on the bottom. So let me bring it up first, and then here we go. We're going to dive into doing the derivative. Times the power by the front, drop it by 1. Times the power by the front, drop it by 1. So here we have the derivative, and I know that at a min or max it equals 0. And then, like I've said in some of the other videos, when you've got this far, it feels a little bit clumsy and awkward. You can always sub in the x value where this is happening. And so I'm going to definitely do that. So it happens where x is 4. I prefer to just take this to the bottom, to the denominator, and so it becomes x squared. So it becomes 4 squared equals 0. That's 8a minus b over 16 equals 0. I'm going to times the 16 up, so that's 128a, and I'm going to move the b across just because I would prefer to ideally have a letter by itself. So that's the first aspect. I've used my knowledge of min or max is where the derivative equals 0. And then the other thing that I can do whenever I feel a little bit stuck is just to sub in a point. And so I'm not too sure where the question's going, but I'm following the basic things that I can see in the question. So let me sub in a point. So 96 is the fx. The a is just 4. Then I'm going to just try get a little bit further. So this is 96 equals 16a. I'm going to sub this value in for b at this point. That gives me 32a. That gives me 48a. And if I divide both sides by 42, I just get a lovely answer of a is 2. And I'm going to sub it into this equation where I had b by itself, and that will help me to get b. And so that's just a nice way to look at questions that sometimes feel a bit daunting to start. Rather than panicking, just go back to the basics of what you do know. I find that really, really, really helpful. Minimum value, okay, that's a turning point. That's where derivative is 0. That's going to be one bit of the information I'm going to work with. I have a point. What do I do with a point? I can just sub it into the original equation to get going. And often that will get you far enough to get all your marks doing simultaneous equations. If you found that helpful, like our video, subscribe to our channel and share it with a friend.